Hello, MeTube. I need to get some sun. Somebody get out here today and do it. We got to come up with an action list on the little 924. So I'm going to get that out. Got to find where my drive-on ramps are. I know they're in here. So I'm going to get this up on the ramps and start just looking at suspension, see what we need to do on the suspension, all the stuff we got to go through. So little by little, we just first want to get the car sorted and safe so it's drivable. We still got a bunch of title stuff we got to work through. I got a plan on that. But we are going to dig into this thing here in just a little bit and see how she runs. Might run around the neighborhood. I do want to say, see how she fires up. First, like a kitten after getting the plug wires where they needed to go and then fixing that injector connector. We're going to clean this thing up a little bit. I'll shoot a little bit of video. We did some stuff last night. I'll incorporate 2 videos into one and we'll have some fun coming at you. I know this is like watching what somebody had for lunch today, but I just wanted to give a shout out on this little car because the clutch actually feels really good. I've got to put a little bit more brake fluid in the brakes. I cleaned some stuff on the engine yesterday. I'm actually going to tackle that wheel bearing on the right hand side. I took some stuff apart and looked at it. I didn't know anything about these cars. It's got a kind of different little setup on it. It's got a twist on cap with a 6mm hex bolt that goes in there that tightens it up, that holds it in place. So you'll see some of that here in just a minute. I'm a sucker for cars, but I just drove around the neighborhood. My neighbor saw it. He's like, oh my God, thing sounds great. Took him for a ride. It runs good too. I'll get Ron in the car later on. Everybody's seen him in the Alpha. First look in the outside sun. So we got some dings and dents here, in some various areas that, some of them are in there pretty good. Don't know how easy it is to get those out. Got running the back right here where that's dented. For the most part, the passenger side is actually really good. Small dent right here. Nothing else. Hood's got a little bit of, just road rash on it. There's some cleanup stuff in this area. Small dent there. Looks like a small Bondo crack. But this might not be too bad to get looking good. The interior is actually not that bad. I'll just be transparent. It needs a little bit, but it's not that. So he had done cardboard cutouts in the back. There's absolutely no rust in here to be found. These struts are not holding anything. And I mean, you got the whole brunt of the weight of this. As I shake it, I feel some looseness in here. And I don't know if you know the story on these, but the glass is bonded to the frame. So I'm gonna have to look at that, but be careful. It's solid. And it's actually got the windshield wiper motor on the back, which we don't have in the 944 and didn't care for, but it's all good. The windshield wiper's in there, so I did see that, so that's good. This, not too bad. We got wheels on order, so that'll be good. So we got tires coming, maybe some spacers and stuff on the back, hub-centric, and get that on there, and we might just paint these guys gold, and then we got to figure out what color we're going to paint this if we paint it. I might try and pop that little dent out here just in a minute. Okay. I don't know how much I'm going to trust this, but let's see what we got here. Pull this piece out. Yeah, there's absolutely no rust out in here. This car's probably one of the better luck jobs I've had on cars, and that dent is behind that rubber piece, or that piece right there. So I don't know if I'm even going to mess with trying to get that out right there. I'll let somebody more professional than me do it, but I think step one might be to research to see if I can find some gas struts for this. About to dig into this. I'm looking for my drive-on ramps. All right, when you get bored, you have nothing else to do, and you're waiting on your son to message you back. Well, maybe just get in here and clean up some of this. Okay. I went and bought a 134A conversion kit for this, and the dryer block actually looks relatively newer, which is interesting to me. I've got a vacuum pulled on this. The only thing I'm looking for today, in all transparency, is just to double check just to check to see if this thing will pull and hold a vacuum. And if it does, then we're good to go. And a little bit of my cleanup on the manifold today here. Just playing around. I really, for me, everybody knows me, I'll probably pull that fuel rail out and clean that up a little bit more and then do some detail work on it. Should have been zinc coated. I think it looks great when you do that, but I'm not going to take it all apart to do that right now, especially with the new timing belt and everything on it. But, good enough. The car runs good. You get the AC working, and then the interior. And I found a company in the UK that actually does Porsche seat covers, and it's really sad because these seats are not in bad condition. They really, really aren't. But somebody was smoking a bong in here, and you can see the seed pops, right? How do I know that? Just my uncle. I won't mention his name because I had a few, but from uncle. But I'll leave it at that. But I think I'd like to replace the rear seats and the front seats and do Porsche in here. Carpet's not too bad. Can see I probably, there's no rust really in the car. I checked everything over, but you can see there's a little bit of tiny rust on this stuff. We take all that stuff out, clean it up, and that's part of the cleanup process. Not a big deal. All in all, this car is kind of, pretty fun and amazing. Got a new battery in it even. Probably not held in there. Oh no, it is actually. I can see that it is. So little by little, we're getting there. It's a short test. We'll see what we can get here. Got a good vacuum on this thing. Been vacuuming for a few hours. Let's see if we can back this thing up and get something going. Having done this many times and many of the many cars that we have, I am gonna first hop in and we will get this started. Make sure she's out of gear. I'm purring like a kitten. Hope I didn't plug anything, but oh, I did not mean to do that. There we go. Turn the AC all the way on. Look down there and see the plug is not engaged on the AC. Let's see if I can get a little bit of fire up in here. I'm doing a squeeze to see if I get any. There you go, a little bit of pressure. See if I can get the system charged here. Okay, I'm not getting a pressure reading. My touch is fully engaged. Let's check and see if we've got AC. Well, it's cooler in here than it is outside for sure. So what I'll do is I'll hit it with a little bit more charge. I might swap cans on this. Clutch is on, so that's a positive, but it probably needs a little bit more fill. But it's actually getting overcharged it just a tiny bit. But secondary cans that you get are not always the best. So let's put the windows up in here. I'm gonna keep an eye on, our fans aren't kicking in, so I probably have an issue with the fan relay. By the way, I'm putting the windows up. Nobody wanted to look at the side of my head, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm just gonna close the doors here and let this thing run for a minute. The problem I have with a lot of the off-the-shelf things you can buy, and I should have bought cans, by the way, but the problem I have with a lot of the off-the-shelf stuff that you buy is that those reading gauges are a little bit finicky, and I don't know if I might have overfilled it a little bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it run for just a couple minutes. I'll keep an eye on the temperature gauge. The fans aren't coming on, so I know that I'm not pulling air from the condenser, but I think that's going to be a relay issue somewhere that I'll have to look at. But let's just, who knows? Heck, maybe it's getting cold in the car. That'd be a plus, eh? Car runs like a champ. One thing I forgot about these cans, if you watch this gauge, it's in the green. And it was going up into the red. That means that we're getting close on the fill. And we just need to get it to green. Like, we don't need to be over pressurized or under pressurized. And that's a little cold air. I'm gonna have to take this thing for a run. So I'm gonna pull all the gauges off and come back in. One of the things that I noticed on the car is that it looked like something to do with one of the heater lines that would open up a flow. Looked like it was hanging loose in there. I don't know if anybody ever caught that. But it definitely looked like I had something hanging loose in there. Of course, I don't have any airflow without the fans on going across the condenser. But let's drive the car and see what we get with a little bit of airflow there. What I've done is I've serviced the AC on this car, and wanted to see what we potentially could get, and I think the verdict is I probably need to do a little bit more work on it, in all transparency. I need to figure out what's going on, but I think we have working air conditioning. Let me put my windows up because it's actually cooler in here than it is out there. Still think the AC is kind of working. This thing leaks down and stops working. I mean, it is what it is, and I can replace parts, but I just wanted to see if we're basically going to get basic working. The water temperature's up from sitting, as we know it has a tendency to do, which is fine, because as I drive it, I get some airflow. Either the fans are coming on or I get some airflow across everything, and it typically cools it down. It doesn't have cruise control, but that's okay. All right, well, my test drive is complete, and this car needs a good detail and everything else. I have wheels and tires and stuff probably coming for it, so I'll figure all that out. But honestly, so far so good. I'm very happy. Runs good, shifts good. I just got to go through and probably replace some wheel bearings, go through the suspension, get the suspension ironed out, maybe buy a rebuilt steering rack, swap the steering rack out on this, some other stuff, and we may be good. I'm excited. I have cold air, like literally, this is, I have cold air in here. The AC is absolutely working. I am happy as a, I don't know what I'm happy as, but I'm definitely happy. Cheers. Found you here is air conditioning. The AC is working in this car. Now, something's funky where something is off and the heater core is open, so I have hot air on my feet without the fan going, but I have AC. It's cool. We're getting cars and projects and stuff going here in the garage. I gotta pull the 944 Ford or 24 Ford a little bit more. This side is not the pretty side. The other side is actually pretty, but I've yet to wash this thing. Tomorrow we're gonna dig in and get the bearings done. We dorked with it today, and we have air conditioning, so going well. How about this crazy beast? Just amazing, 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 amazing with these cars. So much more to do. By the way, White's got a pretty car too, but and a better pristine side of the garage next to my mess that's lined up back here. But hey, this is my mess and I like it.